Hi, welcome to my video on solving trig equations for all possible values of theta. So in my previous unit in trig 1 we solved the trig equations for cos and sine. Now I'm going to do some trig equations for the other trig functions of tan, cot, secant, and cosecant. So here we go. Solve each equation for all possible values of theta as a radian in terms of pi. So we have an equation, tan 2 times theta minus pi over 2 equals negative root 3. So the first thing I want to do is change the pi over 2 to a degree, because I like to work in degrees. Degrees helps me to work better. So let's write the tan 2 theta. Pi over 2 is 180 over 2, which is 90. Better to work in degrees. I find I work better, understand it better. So, and then when I get the answer in degrees, I'll change it back to radians at the end. So we have it done. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to let 2 times theta minus 90 degrees equal A. Again, in trig 1, when I'm solved the trig equations, I let this angle equal A. So the tan of A equals negative root 3 over 2. And my next step is to work on what we call the reference angle. So the tan of the reference angle is root 3, because the reference angle is when you take the whatever number you have here and make it positive. That means you're working on your reference angle, because every angle that's in the first quadrant is the reference angle, and every function is positive in the first quadrant. So what we have, the tan of the reference angle is root 3. So we have root 3. So let's look at the tan of the reference angle, and I got a small circle drawn, but so what we do here is perpendicular. So the reference angle is right here. Tan is opposite over adjacent. So the opposite is root 3 over the adjacent, which is 1. So this is 1 root 3. So this is the 2, because it's a special right triangle. That means this angle right here is a 60-degree angle. So that means your reference angle is 60 degrees. So now what I do is that I have add sugar to coffee. It takes the place of the casserole, but add sugar to coffee starts in quadrant 1, which makes more sense. So everything is positive in 1, sine is positive in 2, tan is positive in 3, and cos is positive in 4, and the reciprocals also follow. So because we have a negative, because tan is positive in 1 and 3, so it's negative in 2 and 4. So we draw the triangle, draw the circle, and we draw a rotation to go around here to be in quadrant 2. Draw the terminal arm perpendicular to the x-axis. Then we draw the rotation to be in quadrant 4 all the way around, right to here. Draw the terminal arm perpendicular. So we have a reference angle of 60 degrees, so we put the 60 here. And we got a reference angle of 60 degrees here, so there's 60. So the rotation here is 180 minus the 60. So that's 120 degrees. So this angle is 120 degrees. And on this rotation all the way around, this one is 360 minus the 60. So this angle is 300 degrees. So what I do, is I take 2 theta minus 90 equals 120. But now, okay, I'll do it for the two of them. 2 times theta minus 90 equals 300. But because I'm trying to find them all, I'm going to add on the period. So the period of tan is 180. So I'm going to add on 180 n, where n belongs to the integers. I'm going to add on 180 degrees n here, where n belongs to the integers. Okay, now this will help me find them all. So I have a choice here. I can divide everything by 2 and or I can multiply this expression by 2 and then solve for theta. So I'm going to divide by 2. Theta minus 90 equals 2 into 2 goes once, 220 goes 60, and 2 into 180 goes 90n. And again, divide here. So probably what I should do is work through each one of the same step. Theta minus 90, dividing by 2, dividing by 2. So now we add the 90 on. So 60 plus 90 is 150. Add on 90n, and we add the 90 here. We get 90, and add on 90. 150 is a 240 plus 90n, and I just omit, just leaving out the belong to the integers that go down there till the end. So okay, well, let's put it in. There we go. N belongs to the integers. Now this is all of them, which is in degrees. So, but we want them in radians. So since I want them all, to illustrate this, if you let n be 0, you get 150. If you let n be 1, you get 150 plus 90. If you let n be negative 1, you take off 90, you get a 60. So these are all the angles if you sub the values of n, which is an integer, but we want them all. So we have them all, and 150 is multiplied by pi over 180. Zeros cancel. 3 into 15 is 5. 3 into 18 is 6. So that's a 5 pi over 6. And 90 degrees is pi over 2. So this is true for one set of angle, when the angle is 150. Now when we have a 240, so let's change the 240. 240 degrees multiplied by pi over 180. Zeros cancel. 6 into 24 goes 4. 6 into 18 goes 3. So that's a 4 pi over 3 plus, again, 90. Just to illustrate 90. 90 times pi over 2. Sorry, pi over 2. Pi over 2 is 90. 90 times pi over 180. 91, 92. So 90 is a pi over 2. Why am I? So this should be, to change the degree to your radian, you multiply by pi over 180, and then you cancel. So now I have all the answers found for that will fit this equation. Again, to take n to be 0, you can work out what is going to be here. N to be 1, you can work out what it is. So subbing 0, 1, 2, 3, negative 1, negative 2 in for n gives you all the values of theta that will work in this equation for this equation. And here, subbing in, again, all the values of n as an integer into this expression here, you will get the values that will fit. So if you want to work out one of them, just sub in. Again, if you take n to be 0 and put 0 here, you get 5 pi over 6, and you take 5 pi over 6, subtract pi over 2, and you get a 4 pi over 6, which is 2 pi over 3, etc., multiply by 2, and you'll come up with an angle which will give you negative root 3. And do that for all of them, but we only need to get the answer for all the angles. Now we have another equation, a little bit different, but we have a fraction. So what I want to do first is clear the fraction. So this is a fraction, so I'm going to put a fraction here. So cross multiply. 3 secant theta minus 5 pi over 6 equals negative root 6 times root 2. So that's 3 secant theta minus 5 pi over 6, and negative root 6 times root 2 is root 12, and that's 4 times 3, so that gives us a negative. Square root of 4 is 2, so that's a 2 root 3. So now I'll divide by 3. 3's cancel, so that gives us the secant of 5 theta minus 5 pi over 6 and a minus 2 root 3 over 3. So secant is the reciprocal of cos, so let's do the cos of theta minus 5 pi over 6 and a negative 2 root 3 over 3. The reciprocal is to go 1 over, so that gives us 3 divided by negative 2 root 3, and remove the radical in the denominator, so I get 3 root 3, and that's a negative. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6, so that's a negative 6, so that gives us a negative root 3 over 2. A negative root 3 over 2. So, what we want to do now, I want to work in degrees, so I'm going to change 5 pi over 6, and I could multiply by 180 over pi, or I could make pi 180 degrees, and 6 into 180 goes 30, so that's a 150. So I have the cos of 150 degrees equals negative root 3 over 2. So I'm going to let the cos of a negative 150 degrees equal A. So cos A negative root 3 over 2. I'm going to work out the answers and then come back and fill in the cos of negative 150 degrees. So we have a cos is, let's do a couple of things. Let's do the cos of the reference angle first. Let's do the reference angle first, make it a positive. I always like to, instead of having the negative, I like to find the reference angle. So the cos of what angle? So the angle is in the reference angle is in the first quadrant. Cos is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So here's the reference angle here. The adjacent angle is root 3. The hypotenuse is 2. That means that we got a 2 root 3. This is a 1. And because of this special triangle, opposite the 1 is a 30-degree angle. So the reference angle is 30 degrees. So now we'll find out what quadrants they're in. So we'll, again, say add sugar to coffee, add sugar to coffee. And this is for the positive trig ratios. So we have cos is negative. That means the x is negative, or cos is negative. Cos is positive in 1 and 4, so it's negative in 2, and it's negative in 3. So the reference angle goes in quadrant 2 and 3. So quadrant 2 here, terminal arm, perpendicular. So there's the rotation. Reference angle is 30. So that means this angle here is a 150. So we have 150 degrees, and the terminal arm is in quadrant. We said it was in, let's see, cos is negative in 2 and 3. So we go on quadrant 3, perpendicular. So the reference angle is 30. So the rotation here is 180 plus 30. So this is a 210. So that means that the angle theta plus 150 equals 150. and theta minus 150 degrees equals 210. And because we're finding them all, then we'll add on and secant. The way I remember is that tan and cot have 180 degrees as a period, and all the other ones have a 360. So it's 360 n. Again, repeat. Tan and cot is 180 degree period, and the other ones have 360. N belongs to the integers. So this one is 360 degrees the period times n, and it belongs to the integers. So we just got to add on the 150, so bring it over. That's a 300 degree, and we got a 360 n, where n belongs to the integers. And this one is theta equals, add on 110, 150 is 360 plus 360 n, where n belongs to the integers. So we have all the answers, all the angles in degrees, but we have to change the degrees to radians. So let's change 300. So in 300 we multiply by pi over 180. Zeros cancel. 3 into, I could divide by 3, but let's divide by 6. 6 into 30 goes 5, 6 into 18 goes 3, so I got a 5 pi over 3. And 360 degrees is 2 pi, so it's 2 pi n. Okay, there's one set of answers. And the other one here, well, notice we got a 360 and a 360n. So 360 is the same as a 0. So just trying to explain. If you rotate 360 degrees, that's the same as you're back to 0. So 0 added on, that means you got 360n. So 360n will take care of the 360s and 0 and etc. And so 360 degrees is 2 pi. And we've got to have it in terms of a radian. So this is the set of answers. So there's 2 of these are the answers that satisfy this equation. Again, if you plug in to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in here and work these out, you will get all the answers for this. That's the one in the second quadrant, and these are the ones that are in the third quadrant. So if you want to plug in again, -1, -2, 0, 1, 2, 3, you get all those angles. And if you take any of those angles and sub into this equation, it will work out to be true. So that's solving the trig equations for secant, cot, tan, etc., etc. And if you like my video, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button if you wish. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Just one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.